Good day, my friends. I am outside. I'm reading a book, okay? So, a while back, I went with one of my BFFs and I got this collection of books. It's like 51 volumes of Harvard classics lectures in pretty much every section of knowledge that English has to offer. And it's pretty old. And I have had these sitting around for a while, and I finally was like, hey, I haven't read anything in a while, so I'm going to. So I started reading this book last night, and it has been phenomenal so far. This is the starter of the series, and it really just summarizes each of the sections, and I've read about, 90 pages so far, and it's phenomenal, just because it's so weird. I'm shutting this now. It's so weird, just bear with me, having life and experience, and it builds up. And I was realizing this the other day. I was like, man, I've done a lot of stuff. I've broken into places. I've kind of messed around a little bit. I've never been vicious with whatever laws that I break, but I've always been, I haven't let them stop me from doing something that I think is necessary or that I wanted to do. And so having that happen and seeing other people that haven't done that kind of makes me go, oh, that's interesting that I've done that. And is it bad? Is it good? I don't know. But I went with a friend today. I took her out to a cemetery because she wanted to say goodbye to one of her friends who passed away. And it was, first of all, it was a military cemetery. And second of all, it was a cemetery. So to be blunt, it was filled with dead people. And that really brings together a lot of thoughts that you can have about this sort of thing. And I was just considering all the stories that were in those people's lives and all the experiences and emotions that they've considered and seen and gone through. And looking at this field of tombs was really sobering, but it was also understandable, because I think that we're meant to die. If we didn't die, it wouldn't be worth anything, because the reason we live is to do stuff before we die. So if you didn't die, if we were all just these eternal beings, we'd just be like, whatever, and we wouldn't do anything. We'd just hang out and get drunk and party or something. But if we lived forever, time would be meaningless, because man made time so that we could keep track of how long we have until we go. And I think that's interesting because it's really not that important, because time in and of itself isn't that big of a deal, because what is a big deal is you and what you do with your life. And as we went off from the cemetery and we just went out and hung out a little bit, we just started talking about the world and stuff that's going on, and specifically our country. So we had one of those rebellious talks about revolution and that sort of thing. And I really honestly truly feel like stuff is going to reach a peak in the next couple decades. And I know it's a couple decades, whatever, it'll be a while, but really important things are going to happen in our lives, and really important things are already happening in our lives. And I'm just considering that all this knowledge that we have at our fingertips, just because you're watching this video means you have access to the internet. It means you could learn almost anything that mankind has ever known. And that's ridiculous. Nobody's ever been able to do that before. Just reading some of these things in this book, threw me off. I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about the French Revolution. I never really cared about that because I'm not French. But then I read about it and understand why it happened and why the middle class was super upset at the Bourbers or whatever. I don't know. And just taking the whole look to the future, you find out what's going to happen in the future by looking in the past, because it's just a cycle. And I was just sitting there and thinking about it, and it's man, I could ditch out on America and go to some other civilization that's still in its rise mode, because that's how civilizations work. Is Rome, it starts, it gets really big and powerful, and then it starts to sink, and then it blows up and turns into something else. And I was just considering that, and like, man, I could just dip out and go to Asia right now and start a life there, and it would be fine. But that's not what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to like help out and actually try to support this, and I don't even understand. But that's part of why I've been making these videos, is because I feel like at some point I'm gonna have to use these to either educate or rally something. And it's interesting because I've been having a really nice time in the past couple days. Like, just the past 4 or 5 days have been phenomenal. It's just been beautiful weather, beautiful people, beautiful experiences. And I keep thinking that something's going to happen eventually, and these are going to be the days I look back on and say, yep, those are some good times. But like, it's odd just thinking about all this. So either way, it's been a good time, and I've been having a good time, and I hope you've been having a good time. And I just want to throw this out there that whatever person you think of when you think of like the coolest person in the world who's like doing awesome things and fixing stuff and crap, you can be that if you care enough. But if you don't care enough, like, don't fool yourself into thinking you can't do it, because we can, and people have done that sort of thing. So just, I don't know, consider life, consider history, consider death, consider experience, and consider how freaking beautiful the world is. Look at that. It's so good. All right, I'm gonna go. Have a nice day.